So we are now doing part 2 of our Q&A. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So Kenny, what do you have?
Right. So one of my questions that I have, I think everybody kind of thinks about it as well. I would want to ask you, like, what are 3 things on your bucket list? So let's just say the next month or 2, you're not going to be on this earth anymore. What would be the top 3 things on your list? So did you want to start, or you have an idea?
Sure. Yeah, I can start.
Okay.
So top 3 things I would like to, okay, let's to clarify. Is it just to do, or like is like a mindset, or
physically
how do you want
do?
to
I would say
physically do?
Yes.
Physically do. Okay. I guess in a general sense, number 1 be travel. COVID, yeah, still.
Yeah. Any specific
COVID,
place?
I guess. I think I want to go back to Vietnam. I know we talk so much about origins and learning your, the country, of your nationality. So I've actually been to Vietnam 20 years ago, but I want to go back just, one last time and just enjoy the entire depths of Vietnam, because it's huge. And we talked about this before. Enjoy the food, enjoy the people, and see my family and learn more about the past, because that's very important, knowing who you are. And some people go their whole lives without knowing who they are, where their family came from and all that. So that's definitely on top of my list, my bucket list. Now, number 2, or unless you want to go back and forth.
Okay, I'll do one then. Okay. Similar to you, I mean, reconnecting to my culture. I would say on top of the list would be to speak fluent Filipino, like learn the language in addition to traveling, because that's how I can communicate with my family and just the history of Filipino culture. Just being able to understand my roots and also communicate in a way that I've never communicated before. So reconnecting.
How good is your, I know the Filipino language has like Tagalog and like a whole bunch of other dialects. So which one is the primary one for you?
So the primary Filipino language or dialect is Tagalog. That's the national language. But for my family, it is, they come from a certain area of the Philippines, so they speak Ilocano. That question to me was just bugging me the whole time. Like when I started learning Filipino, it was like, what do I learn? Do I learn Tagalog? Do I learn Ilocano? Because those 2 things are kind of different from each other. So I had to call my dad and ask him, what exactly do I learn? So he basically told me to learn both. So both Tagalog and Ilocano. Ilocano is where my family's from. Tagalog is just anytime you travel to like the main cities and all that. So it's good to know that. And I am at the beginning of the journey of learning how to speak, all of that. So just doing some FaceTime calls with my dad and learning different words every now and then.
So is there like a primary difference between like the 2 languages, like tone and like context, syntax and all that?
Yeah, I think with other languages as well, depending on what part of the country you're from, they use different words for different things, like water, for example. Some people in the Philippines say tanum, other people say tubig. So basically they're the same thing. Yeah, so it's 2 different languages I have to learn. It's a challenge, but I am, it's a challenge that I'm willing to go through and understand and grow from and reconnect with my Filipino roots.
So what's your goal? Just to be fluent, right?
Yes, to be able to know all the bad stuff, know what people are talking about, jump into conversations and be able to confidently speak my mind and yeah, listen pretty confidently as well. And I think it would show my parents how appreciative I am for the culture, and yeah.
It would be pretty interesting to learn more about like the history between the different cultures. You know, like because in Vietnam, I think mostly the words are similar. It's just like the tones they use are different, and no, it's just good to know the history and like, okay, why did that region, you know, have a different tone, or like why you know, even though they're like thousands of miles apart, you know, why are the words still the same? I wonder why there wasn't a break off. So you know, I think that's inspired me to look into more like the history of Vietnamese language as well, the linguistics of it.
Are you able to speak Vietnamese, or do you speak it at home? Or
yeah, I speak it at home. My dialect is more from the south, so it definitely sounds way different than like if you were to go to like the north. You know, so
yeah, it's probably the same with Philippines too. So
okay, let's maybe we can do an episode about that. That's a very interesting topic, linguistics and the history.
It is. All right. Second bullet point.
Number 2 for me would be to probably, you know, of course we don't know what it's like, but you know, from talking to older people that have lost their spouse and such, they have so many regrets, especially going back to their childhood about, you know, how they were mean to another person or how they acted a certain way towards another person, and they just wish they had that opportunity to just like, you know, say sorry or make amends. You know, I think for me that's what I would do with, you know, with my last time left on this earth, is just to find all the people that I've done wrong, and just have a conversation with them, just like, you know, hey, I was a jerk back then. You know, I was a mean person, and you definitely don't deserve that at all. And you know, I only have so much time left, but I want to make sure that, you know, I've thought of you. You know, so, because that's not who I am right now, and that's not the legacy that I want to leave. You know, I want to make sure there's no bad blood between us, and that, well, who knows, perhaps our children can get along, you know, and we can break that cycle of, you know, hatred. Because I know getting bullied as a kid, I still have some of that leftover hatred from my bullies, and it's been like what, decades now, you know, 15, 20 years. So I definitely wouldn't want that on my kids or like with other people. So I just want peace in the world, and peace with like my soul and the other person as well. Because, you know, we make a lot of mistakes growing up, you know, trying to fit in and trying to being mean to that girl just because, you know, everyone peer pressure to you too. But now that we know better, you know, now that we're adults, you know, it's become clear that we need to start doing that. And even if it wasn't like on the bucket list, I'm actively trying to do that. A story I remember is, you know, I left one of my jobs to work for the city, right? And ironically enough, the girl sitting next to me was my ex back in the days, you know, of high school. So what she did was, no, she was like really nice to me, and I wasn't that nice to her. Like when, you know, we broke up, like suddenly out of nowhere, because I just wasn't, you know, I didn't want to date her anymore. So I just kind of abruptly did it, and I know that hurt her feelings, and I still wish we could have been friends. So no, but you know, as I sat down and I just talked to her, like, hey, just want to put this out there that I'm really sorry for what I did, and I hope we're cool, and I hope, you know, I wish I could take everything back. Like I wish I wouldn't have done that to you. So, you know, start now. Like if someone's listening, to start now. Like don't wait until you have a bucket list. But still, if I had like a month left to live, yeah, that's probably top of my list. Like, hey, you know, I'm about to bounce soon, so I just want to say, hey, you know, still love. There's hope. There's love. So.
And yeah, that's yeah, interesting story. And yeah, I just wanted to bring up like start now. It's definitely been a time where we, yeah, just have had the time to kind of reconnect with other people. And yeah, I just want to encourage people, especially now. I mean, not like you said, doesn't have to be on your bucket list, but you can even start now to just try to reconnect with people that you haven't seen in a while, haven't talked to, or like you said, like all the bullies, because you eventually want to leave the earth like on a positive note as much as you can, and just leave no regrets behind.
Life's
And
too short for all
it
that.
is, yeah,
Exactly.
especially with the current situation going on. Who knows
Exactly.
what's going to happen tomorrow?
So you never know. And let's say you reach out to a bully, and
Mm-hmm.
you say you forgive them, and they're still pretty mean. They're still pretty bad people. So what? You did your best. You reached out. That's good
Yeah,
for your soul. Like even if they tell you, oh yeah, I didn't care about that. Like whatever, why you even calling? That's fine. You did what you had to
yeah,
do. You remedied your own soul. I think that's more important than trying to, because a lot of times when you do reach out to people, you, especially to a bully or someone that's hurt you kind of expect them to be really empathetic and say sorry and all that. And then when you don't get that reaction, then you get mad, and it actually defeats the purpose of you reaching out. It's for
yeah,
yourself. It's not for the other person to do something that will make you feel better.
exactly. So it's never too late unless it becomes too late. So start now, start
Yes,
reconnecting.
I agree.
Okay, all right, for me, well, speaking of leaving the earth on a positive note, I guess my second bullet point is to basically eat everything that I can. Visit different countries and just eat. I want to be, I just want to feast on everything that I haven't tried ever, and just, yeah, be able to just enjoy different foods and stuff myself. And yeah,
Well, what's on top of the list? What's
well, I mean, stuff that I haven't tried, like any sort of European food, any Indian food. That is something I want to try as well. Um, so basically, I want to travel to every single continent and try a dish. And I mean, I could possibly do it whenever traveling is available, but um,
right?
let's just say I had a month. Yeah, I just would want to eat as much as I can. Yeah, if there were no rules for a day, you would find me jumping from country to country and just eating. So, and
Is there food you wouldn't want to try, like durian, for example?
oh no, I would want to try every single thing.
Everything, even if it
Yeah,
sucked.
even if it sucked. But you know, that's the thing. You just have to experience it, and yeah, you can just say you did it, mark that off the list, and yeah, I mean, I could go for my usual Korean barbecue where I leave and all that. Um, but yeah, just trying new things and everything.
Have you thought about that? Like, okay, if you were, let's say, money wasn't a problem, have you like thought of a plan? Like, okay, this is where I would start, and this is where I would end.
Probably, yeah. Like I would start off in Asia, and then I would just make my way around to Europe and all of that. But yeah, if money wasn't an issue, just think of the possibilities. Um, yeah, if that opportunity was available, which is mostly highly unlikely at this moment in time, then I would definitely go for it.
I say you spend a lot of time on the airplane.
Sure.
So,
Yes, that's a thing. But yeah, eating, because I love to eat, and I'm down to go eat anytime, anywhere, any place. You just give me a call.
And very nice. I do have a lot of snacks that I want to send your way.
So. Yeah. Surprising we're not doing like a mukbang or something, because I would definitely eat the whole table.
That is a consideration, like just having food and just talking about topics, or that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like a more casual, relaxed.
Yeah.
Need to brainstorm that.
Holidays are coming up. I mean, it's not gonna be the same gathering together, but we can do these virtual conversations / feasts, and that's still fun.
The ASMR is gonna be out of this world, huh?
Oh yeah, oh I bet. Yeah. Eat. Maybe because I'm hungry. That's why.
No, me too.
All right.
Number three. This one's pretty simple. Spend time with the people I love.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the first one. Like, take all my family traveling, and who better to spend the last couple moments of your life with than the people that love you. So it's a no-brainer for me, especially rarely ever is there a time where like everyone gets together, especially for my family. Everyone has their certain things on their lives, and it'll be nice to unfortunately have a tragedy bring everyone together, but it'll be nice to have everyone together, because I can't remember the last time everyone part of my family was together, just talking, having fun. So those occasions are very rare. That's why I cherish it greatly. So that'll be my third one for sure. You can't have enough family time, because if you think about it, for typical people, once they're 18, they either move out or they go do their own thing, they pursue their own careers, and the parents just kind of get forgotten about until they get super old. They can't do all the daily things that they want to do. Now you got to take care of them. So there's like a disconnect. I definitely seen it with my brothers and my parents. So luckily, we do reach out. I try my best to have plan as many events together, so that way we can all get together and talk and learn more about our history. Especially my parents, they have so much memories and they have so many things that they can share with us. So this is a great way. And I think my experience growing up with my brothers were different, because we weren't super close, and that's why in a way I'm very envious of the relationship you have with your brothers. You guys seem really close. You guys can joke around, and I didn't really have that until last couple of years, where we were comfortable joking around, telling each other sensitive, vulnerable things. So who knows what else you can learn with the families together. So.
It's definitely a journey to reconnect that relationship that you have with your brothers. And yeah, over the years, it just takes time. It does. So, I mean, I know my brothers and we had kind of like an off relationship growing up, but over the years, as you said, as we become older, we start to reach out a little bit more and, try to find ways of kind of creating that bond or building that bond that you had. So, yeah. And I agree with you on that's actually like my last point too, is to just spend time with all my loved ones, because, they've been there with you since day one, and you want to leave the earth, on your very last day kind of thing. So just having that opportunity to just have everyone that you love around you. I mean, I envision some sort of big barbecue party with everybody. Nice. Although it is kind of sad to think that it's like your last time, but it is just happiness right there to have everyone around you, good food, good people, good vibes, everything. You just want to
Mm-hmm.
have that peacefulness that you want. And yeah, being able to reconnect. As many times as we say the word connect, reconnect, all of that. I mean, it's our life's theme, you could say, connecting. Even if we're so far apart, we try to find ways to reconnect. And through that, yeah, it's been a challenge, but at the same time rewarding. Being able to see each other virtually is always a gift that we don't take for granted. And yeah, so that's kind of the reason why I wanted to ask, like, what's on your bucket list, because especially like right now, there's we see so many things happening in the world, many deaths and just yeah, all of that. So it made me kind of worried, but at the same time, you really have to think to yourself, like, how am I spending my day, and do I, yeah, all of that.
Now, the one interesting thing about these kind of questions about death and such is it makes you really think about, like the Stoics. They have a practice of like thinking that they have the saying called like one day you will die, and it's like a practice that they do. And I thought it was very interesting as I was reading about it, because yeah, one day you're gonna die. So the things that don't matter, like you shouldn't put too much emphasis on it. Like, why are you worrying about something? Because one day you're gonna die. Like that risk that you were, you didn't want to do because it's too risky and it gives you anxiety or whatever. It doesn't matter. Do it because one day you're gonna die. So I've been trying to put that a little more into practice of, like, oh, I'm scared about putting out content like for my blog, or I'm scared about starting this podcast because people are gonna tell me, oh, I'm a fraud, or like I don't know what I'm doing. But now that I look back at it, it's like, and that with that practice, it's like, one day I'm gonna die, so let's just do it. Who knows? So for myself, that's especially during pandemic times and people have been dying, and that's made me think a little bit more about things that I want to do, things that I'm scared that I'm gonna fail at. But now it becomes like, who cares? 'Cause one day, I'm
have
not
you
gonna be
been
here.
have you ever been like hesitant about a decision that you, I guess, during that process, hesitant about anything? Just
I think the most current one, the one that I'm thinking of is I want to start a newsletter or like an actual blog on the internet.
mm-hmm.
The one thing holding me back was like, I was just worried about like my content not being good enough, or like my writing skills not being good enough. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just worried about people judging me. I was just worried about what other people might think, but it just doesn't matter. You just need to do it to satisfy your own thirst.
Yeah.
And who cares what other people says? Because does their opinion really matter? They haven't even started their own blog. They haven't even taken the risk. So why do their opinions matter so much? They have no skin in the game. It's like telling a weightlifter like, oh, that exercise is bad for you when you haven't worked out a day in your life, or that's bad for your lower back, but you haven't worked out. How can you say that? So just going back to that mindset of, I need to do this for myself, because one day when I am on my deathbed, I don't want that regret at all.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, even if I fail, I want to say that at least I attempted with the best of my abilities, with all the research I've done. Even if I failed, I'm glad I tried it. Now I have no more regrets.
Yeah, I think a lot of people nowadays deal with that hesitation because they're just, constantly worrying about what other people might say, what other people might, yeah, throw at you. And, at the end of the day, the end of the journey, are you happy with everything that you do? It's self-satisfaction. Like, you're sitting on your deathbed, like, you just have to think to yourself, like, oh, did I accomplish everything that I wanted to? And yeah, so I would say eliminate as much hesitation, if not all hesitation, that you have in your life, and just try it out, go for it. And yeah, continue to just strive for your goals. Make that list, make that bucket list, and achieve those goals.
Just a side note of like, make your bucket list, but don't wait until you're about to kick the bucket.
Yeah. Just work on it right away.
Work on it bucket. The urgency bucket.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.